Welcome to Brand Rescue, a public relations podcast where we dig into the truth about what it's actually like to work in PR. I'm Whitney Lee. I ditched my fancy corporate job to freelance in small-town USA and ended up building an international PR agency. On this show, we skip all the BS and sugarcoating and get into the conversations our industry should be having. It's all real talk, and we love a hot take. Glad you're here. Let's get to it. Hey friends, welcome back. This week's episode is inspired by a question that I got from a friend who is just recently kind of starting out their journey as a solopreneur. And then this topic kind of randomly came into my life on another occasion, like a few different times. This pro bono topic kept popping into my world. And I was like, maybe this is a sign I should do a podcast episode on this. So that's what we're going to be talking about today. And I feel like this will probably be a really good take for people who work for themselves, because this is such a thing. And I feel like, especially when I first started in business, I got a lot of requests for pro bono. And then as I started hiring team members and things like that, then naturally it started to fall away a little bit and I didn't get the question quite as much. And also as I started to tell people no, I think word got out because, when you do stuff for free, people tell other people, oh, she helped me for free. And there you go. So when you do it for one person, then they come to you, another organization comes to you and is like, can you help us the way you helped out David? Oh, okay. And then if you tell them no, then it's like, well, why did you say yes to David and not say yes to us? That kind of thing. So the moment I started telling a few people no, I think the word got out that I couldn't do everything, I couldn't do pro bono as much. And also when you start taking employees, I think people start to understand, that you got bills to pay. It's one thing when it's your own time, but it's different when you have a team full of people. So first of all, pro bono can mean several different things. Some people come to you for pro bono and they really just want like a much lower rate. A lot of charities will ask you for the nonprofit rate. Be careful with that. Some nonprofits are amazing clients, and others will suck your blood dry. God, you didn't know you were coming for that, did you? But also don't be fooled. Nonprofits have freaking money, okay? I know this year they've seen a lot of budget cuts with the current administration, which that's not where this podcast is headed. If you know me, you know I'm like, nope, not talking about politics on here. But in general, a lot of nonprofits have money, okay? They have budgets. So don't let them tell you that they don't have budgets, everyone always says, charge your worth. And I 1,000% agree with that. But I will say when people ask me, should I do pro bono or not? You're going to love this, but the answer depends. Honestly, it depends on a few things. So number one, it depends on where you are in business. If you are just starting out, it can actually be a massive springboard for you. I'll tell you guys a quick story. This was legitimately, I don't know, 13 years ago or something. I had a nonprofit director reach out to me and say, hey, we've got this event coming up in 2 weeks, I think. I literally think it was like 2.5 weeks away. She's like, we barely sold any tickets. We do this event every year. So there's like some, knowledge about it, awareness in the community, but it really should be so much bigger than what it is. So, we just need help. We need help selling tickets. We need more sponsors. We need more, it was a purse event. We need more purses to sell at the event. And, can you help us? And I was like, well, I love purses. And also it's a really wonderful cause. And I had some time on my hand because I was still kind of taking on clients. This was like super fresh. coming out of the corporate world and whatnot. So I told her, I was like, all right, listen, 2.5 weeks is not enough time to really make a huge difference, but I'll do as much as I can. I can help get this in the media. I can probably help get some more purses. I can help get the word out. That'll hopefully sell some more tickets. Like, yeah, I can help you get a few more raffle items. And I think they paid me $1,000. I was like, just throw me $1,000 and here we go. And so for 2.5 weeks, I busted it for them. And sure enough, that year was the biggest year. They sold more tickets. We got in the media. Um, it's a wonderful event anyway, but they had the biggest year. And I literally had 2.5 weeks to pull that off. And I was like, wow, I'm really proud of myself. And I feel really good for helping them. And again, I didn't do it completely pro bono, but $1,000 for the amount of time I put in that. No, that is like, it was ridiculous, the deal of the century. But I'll tell you what ended up happening out of that. I don't think I got a whole lot of like public facing glory for that of people like, wow, Whitney Lee did this, which is fine. I don't really care. Honestly, like I hate the idea of being like famous and you know what I mean? Ugh. Um, I didn't get a whole lot of notoriety that way, but actually the board, so for the sake of knowledge, anyone listening, if you have a 501c3, a charity designation in this nation, you actually have to have a board of directors. A board of directors oversees the staff, checks and balances for the finances, all that kind of stuff. So you have to have a board, right? And a lot of these charities ask very knowledgeable, influential people to be on their board. A lot of times they're business owners or they've been in that community for a long, long time and they're very, very well connected. So the event went really, really well. The board went to the director who hired me and was like, oh my God, like, this was our biggest event ever. Like, this was amazing. What happened? And she's like, oh, I got Whitney Lee to help us. Well, then the board was like, oh my God, she only had 2.5 weeks and she did this. She freaking rocks. So thank you so much. They ended up becoming a client, I don't know, for like 10 years or something like that, at a much higher rate, mind you. We went on to make that event even bigger every year after that. And I cannot take all the glory for that. That is like me and their team. But I was, a nonprofit, they're so shorthanded just to have somebody that's focusing on the promotion, the PR, the partnerships and all that kind of stuff. It went a long way. And I just love that team to death. So anyway, that little pro bono, that $1,000 deal I did, turned them into a long-term client at full price. And a lot of the people on that board went on to hire me. So, cause they were like, hey, could you help me with my business? Could you help me? My corporate role is this for XYZ company. Like, we need help with this. Could you help with that? So it generated a bunch of other clients. And so in that situation, absolutely. I'm so glad I did it. I'm so glad I did it for so cheap. It really was such a jump start during a time that I was just trying to get scrappy and make some money. So, I think that's, a perfect example of when it's a good idea. So I'll say this, if someone asks you for pro bono, now what I say, I say I don't do pro bono, but I'm always open to exploring partnerships. And of course, they're like, well, what does that mean? And here's what I'll say to you when looking at it as a partnership aspect. Okay. Even if you are providing services for free, ask yourself, number one, is there some type of relationship that could be long-term beneficial from this engagement? Is there somebody I'm going to be connected to and it could turn into a long-time client, or just a good relationship with that person could generate more clients or exposure or anything? So number one, could I gain some type of really awesome relationship from this, even if I do it for free? Number two, what exposure am I going to get from this? This is like the main one that everybody's worried about, is like, where's my logo going to be? To me, that's like, I mean, yes, it's something that you need to assess with them. Like, making sure that the relationship is balanced, right? Like you're going to give them this, but what do you actually get in return, you know? Um and not just your logo slapped on a banner somewhere that's out in the outfield, like that mm, I don't know. Every business is different, but that's not going to do anything for me. Okay. So that's number 2. What exposure will I get from this? And the most important one in my mind is how could I use this partnership to promote the partnership for years to come. Okay. That actually puts the work back on you, but that's not always a bad thing. Like then if you can continue to promote for years and years that you were the partner for, I don't know, Make a Wish Foundation or something like that, like how could that help your visibility? How can you use that for notoriety and bragging rights going forward? Again, just depending on the partnership. Okay, so a few weeks ago, if you listen to the pod regularly, a few weeks ago I had a conversation with Chelsea Gaitan, who's the owner and founder of Black Tie Optional. Um, she's an event and wedding coordinator based out of Phoenix, Arizona. Um, Go listen to that episode because she got an opportunity to work with the housewives for Bravo and also Arizona Bride magazine, all this kind of stuff. So you'll have to listen to how that whole thing was negotiated. But again, like regardless of her if her face even showed up on Bravo, that's not the real value of it, right? The real value of it is from here on out, she can say, my company has worked with Bravo. And that's on you as the business owner to promote that connection and ride that wave until you can't ride it anymore. This isn't partnership or pro bono related, but there was a restaurant one time that shall remain nameless, but the food was garbage and they had frozen seafood and it just a tourist trap. Okay. But somehow or another, they got featured on one of those Food Network shows. I don't know, Diners, Drive-Ins, and Dives or something like that. It wasn't that one because this isn't a dive. But anyway, it was featured on the Food Network and and good on them, they promoted that till the freaking cows came home. I think they were on Food Network like 15 years ago or something like that. Um, and they're still promoting it to this day. And you know what? When people saw that level of credibility like brought them into the restaurant. So if you do some type of pro bono or heavily discounted rate, is the relationship gonna bring you that level of or is your involvement, putting them on your client list, is it gonna put something really awesome in your portfolio or some kind of bragging rights that you can actually take and run with it from there? I actually like this even better because then you're in control of promoting it. You can't control sometimes where they put your logo or who sees your logo flash across the screen or whatever. That kind of stuff is out of your control. But what is in your control is how you promote that connection from there on out. So, pro bono work can change everything. If it aligns correctly and it's a good opportunity and it can bring you exposure and notoriety for years to come, heck yeah, do pro bono. I tell a lot of people starting out when they're freelancing, I'm like, you got to get your freaking name out there. Everyone's like, how did you grow this agency, Whitney? How did you do this? And I'm like, you know what I did? I got out and shook every freaking hand in that town and told them what I did. Now, I did not try to choke slam them with sales of like, well, can I help you? Can I help you? Do you need help with PR? If you need help with PR, and then follow up 12 times of like, hey, I'm here if you need PR. But no. In fact, I did the opposite. All I shared was, this is who I am. This is what I do. Oh my God, and then people are like, wow, what does that mean? And you can, oh man, we do this and we do that. And it's so fun. We blah, blah, blah. We work with a lot of restaurants and hospitality companies and do not try to sell them anything. And I actually think you will get more clients and sales by just strictly being excited about what you do and sharing it in a really clear and succinct way. Again, that's a whole other episode, but being able to like tell somebody what you do and why and who you do it for within like 5 seconds and dumbing it down so clearly to where they cannot misunderstand you. Yeah, get out there and shake a bunch of hands. And if it means doing some pro bono work, then I think that if you think through it as a partnership rather than pro bono, then I think it can actually be really beneficial for you. So, this was a short episode today. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope it's helpful. If you have any thoughts, I love hearing from y'all. So, always hit me up. I welcome ideas and questions, just like this episode. If you have a question you want me to tackle, hit me up and let me know. So, all right, y'all, we will see you on the next episode. Thanks for tuning in. That's it for today. If something in this episode landed for you, share it, screenshot it, and send it to someone in the industry who needs to hear it. And come connect with me personally on Instagram at @TheWhitneyLee, or you can find me on LinkedIn. See you next week.